An army so powerful, so unstoppable that just hearing their approach would send entire kingdoms into panic. We're talking about a military force from over 2 millennia ago that didn't just win battles, they rewrote the rules of civilization itself. This wasn't your average fighting squad. This was a perfectly engineered war apparatus built on iron, discipline, and relentless momentum. And their story, it begins in the eternal city, Rome. You're about to discover why the Roman legion remains history's most intimidating military machine. If you want to unlock the mysteries behind the deadliest fighting force humanity has ever witnessed, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because the knowledge you're gaining today will forever transform your understanding of military history. Spanning more than 5 centuries, the Roman legion represented the absolute pinnacle of military might, tactical genius, and global domination. Their boots marched across Gaul's bloody battlegrounds, through North Africa's scorching deserts, deep into Germania's dark forests, and onto Britannia's misty coastlines. Opponent after opponent fell before their advance. But here's the real question. What actually made these warriors so absolutely terrifying? Was it sheer numbers, superior weaponry, or something far more profound? The answer lies in their unshakable discipline, their meticulous organization, and their remarkable capacity to evolve and overcome any challenge. Throughout this video, we're diving deep into what made the Roman legion tick. We'll unpack their transformation from a humble civilian defense force into an elite professional army capable of forging an empire across 3 massive continents. We'll break down their brutal training regimens, their battlefield innovations, their logistical mastery, and the leadership principles that rendered them virtually unstoppable. And here's something incredible. Military academies worldwide still examine Roman tactics as the ultimate benchmark for combat excellence. Get ready. This is the epic tale of the warriors who constructed an empire whose influence reverberates through time itself. The legendary Roman legion didn't emerge as an unstoppable juggernaut overnight. Its origins were surprisingly modest, a basic civilian defense force. Back around the 6th century BCE, during Rome's infancy as a republic, the city was merely one settlement among many, squeezed between threatening rivals like the Etruscans and Samnites. Survival demanded that every physically capable male citizen answer the call to arms when danger approached. But Rome's ambitions outgrew these simple arrangements. By the 4th century BCE, Roman leaders recognized a crucial truth: throwing bodies at problems wouldn't cut it anymore. They needed organization, coordination, and strict discipline. That realization sparked the manipular system, a game-changing battlefield innovation that broke the army into smaller, agile units called manipules. These manipules deployed in 3 distinct battle lines: the Haestati, Principes, and Triarii. Each line served unique tactical purposes and contained soldiers of varying experience, creating unprecedented battlefield adaptability. This gave Rome a crushing advantage over enemies still wedded to inflexible phalanx formations. Then came the watershed moment, the Punic Wars against Carthage. Rome confronted Hannibal, a tactical mastermind who accomplished the impossible, crossing the Alps with war elephants and annihilating Roman forces at Cannae. Yet even facing catastrophic defeats, Rome didn't break. They evolved. They overhauled their legions, doubling down on professionalism, enhancing training protocols, and strengthening command structures. By Julius Caesar's era, the legion had morphed into a supremely disciplined, standardized war machine primed to subjugate the known world. If ancient military innovation fascinates you, smash that like button and share this with any history enthusiast you know. You might just spark the next generation's military genius. At peak operational capacity, a Roman legion fielded approximately 5,000 heavily equipped infantry soldiers. But that raw number barely scratches the surface. Beneath it lay an intricately designed command hierarchy functioning with the precision of a Swiss watch. Each legion subdivided into 10 cohorts, with each cohort containing 6 centuries groups of roughly 80 warriors. Commanding from the top was the legatus, a senior officer typically from Rome's senatorial elite. Below him stood the centurions, the legion's true spine. These battle-hardened commanders led each century and earned their reputation through uncompromising discipline and personal bravery. A centurion's commands were absolute law, and defiance brought swift, often fatal, consequences. But exceptional leadership alone doesn't explain the legion's dominance. The real secret? Relentless grinding training. Roman soldiers drilled constantly, day after endless day, year after punishing year. They mastered formation marching, perfected techniques with the gladius short sword, practiced javelin throws with the pilum, and learned rapid fortification construction. Every legionnaire needed proficiency across multiple combat and engineering skills. And they hauled impressive loads, roughly 60 pounds of equipment. Their distinctive gear included chain mail or scale armor, the massive rectangular scutum shield, and helmets featuring protective cheek guards. This kit enabled them to fight effectively both offensively and defensively, particularly in tight formations like the famous testudo, the tortoise formation where soldiers interlocked shields overhead and around them, creating an armored shell impervious to arrows and projectiles. Let's not overlook logistics, a Roman specialty. They didn't just fight, they planned with obsessive detail. Before every campaign, engineers constructed roads, bridges, and fortified encampments. Each evening, they erected temporary fortresses complete with defensive walls, ditches, and watchtowers. This unmatched mobility and security allowed them to operate far behind enemy lines without depending on local resources. When Roman legions engaged in combat, victory came not from mindless aggression but from calculated annihilation. Their battlefield approach fused explosive speed, tactical deception, and crushing pressure. One signature weapon was the pilum javelin. This wasn't just for throwing at enemies, it was engineered to bend on impact, preventing opponents from hurling it back. As legions closed distance, they'd unleash volleys of pilums into enemy formations, shattering cohesion and morale before moving in for close-quarters slaughter. Then there's the testudo formation we mentioned, the tortoise. When confronting archers or siege equipment, soldiers raised shields above and around their formation, creating a moving fortress. This tactic provided complete protection from projectiles while enabling safe advancement toward enemy strongholds. But what truly separated Roman tactics was adaptability. Unlike armies locked into rigid formations, Romans could seamlessly transition between lines, columns, and flanking movements based on battlefield conditions. They employed fake retreats to bait enemies into killing zones, exploited terrain advantages ruthlessly, and coordinated with allied forces to execute devastating encirclements. When the decisive moment arrived, they attacked with terrifying ferocity. The gladius, that short stabbing sword, proved devastatingly effective in close combat. Through precise thrusts and coordinated movements, Roman soldiers could overwhelm numerically superior forces through superior technique and unit cohesion. Roman military dominance transcended physical strength and clever tactics. Their true weapon, psychological warfare. Imagine you're a Gallic tribal leader watching a Roman army enter your territory. No battle drums, no war chants, just eerie silence. Then they halt, they form a perfect square. Shields rise in unison, standards plant firmly, and without warning they charge, not in wild chaos, not with screaming fury, but in perfectly synchronized mechanical motion. That's the existential dread the Roman legion inspired. No randomness, no hesitation, just cold, methodical destruction. Their reputation spread like wildfire. Enemy forces actively avoided confronting them. Entire tribes surrendered before swords were drawn. Leaders paid hefty tributes rather than face obliteration. And when the Romans did conquer, they often employed extreme brutality, mass executions, widespread enslavement, complete urban destruction to discourage future resistance. But there's another dimension to their fearsome reputation: consistency. While other armies rose and crumbled, the Roman legion endured. It survived civil wars, political chaos, and imperial transitions. It remained an ever-present threat across multiple generations. And when Romans did suffer defeat, like the catastrophic Battle of Teutoburg Forest in 9 CE, where Germanic tribes obliterated 3 complete legions, it only intensified their resolve. That loss shocked Rome so profoundly that Emperor Augustus allegedly wandered his palace crying, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions." That singular disaster revealed how deeply Roman identity intertwined with military supremacy. Though the Roman Empire collapsed over 1,500 years ago, the Roman legion's influence pulses through modern military doctrine. Contemporary armed forces still study Roman tactics, especially their emphasis on discipline, logistics, and field fortifications. The concept of unit standards or flags, the construction of forward operating bases, and the very idea of professional standing armies all trace their lineage directly to Rome. Modern military structures mirror the Roman organizational model remarkably closely. Units operate through hierarchical command chains, soldiers endure rigorous training programs, logistics receive priority attention, and discipline remains mission-critical. Even our language preserves this legacy. Words like legion, century, standard, and fortress come straight from Roman military vocabulary. Terms like victory, defeat, and strategy have roots in Roman conquest narratives. Today, the Roman legion stands not as some dusty historical curiosity, but as an eternal blueprint for military excellence. The Roman legion transcended being merely history's most feared fighting force. It was a phenomenon constructed on discipline, innovation, and pure willpower. It conquered half the known world and established a legacy that continues shaping warfare today. From Gaul's blood-drenched battlefields to Egypt's ancient sands, Roman soldiers marched forward not seeking personal glory, but fulfilling sacred duty. In doing so, they etched their names permanently into human civilization's foundation. If this historical journey captivated you, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you believe was the key to Roman legion dominance? Their weapons, their tactics, or their unbreakable mindset? Remember, history isn't merely about understanding the past, it's about comprehending how we arrived at our present. Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay with us for more stories that shaped our world.